And welcome back to another episode of the Military Minute. Today we're speaking with Robert Shepard, goes by Bob, and Bob had a wonderful career in the Air Force, over 30 years between active duty and reserve components. An aerial firefighter, one of the first to implement the MAF systems for the C-130s. A pilot of small aircraft, the C-130 and the KC-135. I understand you have over 5,000 flight hours, and today we're just here to talk about your career. And if you can, just give us a little intro into your background and how you got started and where you were born and all of that.
I got started by being drafted.
That's a lot of people in the 60s and 70s had that same start, so you're in good company.
And so that was not something I was really looking forward to, but that's what took place.
Instead of your draft, you joined the Air Force.
Right.
And basic training, and where you did that.
Okay, that was done down, all my initial training was done in San Antonio.
Okay.
So I went in and started in the draft portion. I was 3 months in casuals while I went through basic training, and then came back and was waiting for my school slot. And so that turned out to be about 3 months. And then went through the upgrade for
pilot training. And I understand you enjoyed doing the basic training as an enlisted soldier because you understood more of the role your enlisted soldiers took, your flight crews, your mechanics, and everything like that. Gave you a lot better understanding for what your lower enlisted were doing.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that then, but yeah.
But having that experience gave you that.
Went through it, yeah.
Gotcha. And so you were small aircraft starting in Texas. Your
Cessna 172.
And the T-37 and T-38s?
They were done at Randolph. The other one was done at Lubbock.
Okay. And then you transitioned to C-130s. And what's your favorite thing about the C-130?
It can do about anything.
Okay. Cargo missions.
Drop missions.
The AC-130, the Spectre gunships are built on that platform, the old Puff the Magic Dragon upgrade. And so you're in the Air Force, you're now a fully fledged pilot, you're on C-130s, and your first deployment was to Vietnam?
Not Vietnam. My first deployment was to Taiwan.
Okay. So you're shipped to Taiwan, and you're there.
I was never in the war, per se. I slept at Taiwan and then went in.
Gotcha. Okay. So how many sorties, how many missions did you fly from Taiwan into Vietnam and in that airspace?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of missions. And what's a mission that stuck with you most from that time?
Probably the one where I got the flying award. We had to go, two spooks had been up messing around where they shouldn't have been or got too far. And then they lost the engine, put it down, and there was some things that were in that they wanted. So I took her, went up, and didn't have any fire. We thought we were going to get fire. Landed, loaded up the old machine, and brought it back.
Oh, okay. You loaded their plane in as well. Wow. It took off. And how far they landed at a strip, some sort of dirt strip or old road or something?
No, it was an old dirt strip.
Okay. Do you know where in Vietnam that would have been?
That wasn't in Vietnam, Cambodia.
Oh, okay. Roughly what year? Do you remember the year?
Let's see. That would have been about 3.5 years probably into the program.
Okay, so probably 68, 69?
Right.
Okay.
There, yeah.
All righty. Now, you're flying in Vietnam, you're flying missions all over. Your 7 air medals that you're awarded, were any of those combat or mission related, or were they all flight hours?
The only real good one was the one I just told you
Yeah,
about.
the Distinguished Flying Cross.
No, I would think it was just, I did a lot of work for the Army and maintaining ammo for them. So, and we had 4 or 5 guys that did that.
It was always on pallets. Did you do the palletized loading system so you could roll it on, roll it off? And
just open the back door, drop it, and go.
Kick it out and take off and go home for chow?
You'd do it when you did this.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. How about parachutes, dropping by parachutes, cargo?
I did not, well, we had the extraction program that I got involved in, where you come down, fly 3 feet over, do your extraction, and go.
Okay.
And other than that, that was the only one where I really got involved in the actual piece of equipment was going to be doing it.
Okay. And now after Vietnam and you've rotated home, you stayed in the reserves, you stayed active duty?
When I came back from Nam, I went right down and got in the Air Force Reserve at Hamilton at that time. And then I stayed at Hamilton for about 4 or 5 years, and I went from ops over to maintenance. And then after that, I went back to Keesler, I guess.
Let's talk about your aerial firefighting days. I know you spent a lot of time flying that. So you were in one of the projects where the MAF system was first developed down in Hamilton, as I understand.
Yeah, it was developed downtown San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And we did the test flying.
Oh, okay. And so you were dropping water and retardant and doing all of that in the early days of that whole system. It's still used today here in California and other parts of the United States for aerial firefighting. And the really neat thing with the MAF system is the way it's developed is it's roll on into your aircraft. Instead of having that aircraft dedicated to fire suppression, you can roll that system in and roll it back out.
Right.
And do you remember about how long the retrofit from going from a C-130 landing on the ground to putting that system in was? How soon you could be operational after landing?
I would say we could probably have it after a little bit. There was 3 sections.
Mm-hmm.
And then you couple those together when they got in. We could have her going 4 to 5 hours.
Okay. That's pretty impressive to go from a cargo plane to an aerial firefighting vehicle in 4 hours. So loaded and on. Did you always have to fly with a lead plane, or were you qualified to do it without a lead plane?
No, we always use lead plane.
Always use lead plane. Okay. And then what was the biggest fire you were on? Do you remember your biggest fire campaign?
The one probably that we had down in LA.
Okay.
They had some problems back over a ridge or two outside. Mm-hmm. And so we, there just for fun, we had 4 airplanes. And so we took the 4 airplanes, went up, and they picked a place for us to drop on. And so we went in, 1, 2, 3, 4, went home.
Oh.
And so they got a chance to see, mainly in light timber, what we could do.
Okay. You were in 20 years for Fairbanks, Alaska. And what were you doing in Fairbanks, Alaska?
Working for the FAA.
Okay. As an inspector, as a technical inspector for aircraft. And what made you move from Alaska back here?
Retirement.
Okay. Be near family?
Yeah.
Get out of the cold?
I had a house.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Do you still fly today?
No.
When was your last flight?
My last flight, that type, was in the
KC-135, the refuelers? Okay. Yeah. And you like that aircraft the best?
For refueling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any particular reason? Easier to fly, more stable?
Probably had twice the load.
Capacity?
And the way it was set up, it was just, I like to fly the Herc, but that did the job as far as hauling fuel and that type.
Sure. A lot better.
And you could put quite a few people in there, even with the, we usually carried an extra 15,000 gallon tank. Mm-hmm. So
I know
depending on what we're doing.
I know when we left Iraq, we left Balad Air Base. And that C-130 pilot sure took the missile avoidance, ground fire avoidance very seriously. And we finished our year there, and we're on the somewhat of the Freedom Bird. You know, we're excited, we're going home. And I mean, that pilot just whipped it, and we're all sitting there just thinking we're going to get a nice ride. And he must have liked to mess with Army guys, because all of a sudden we're looking straight down, and then we're looking straight up at everybody, and we're just banking like this. And you know, we just spent the last year patrolling the outer wire of that base, making sure there were no anti-aircraft sites or anything that's going to shoot at the planes. And I felt like, man, they didn't believe us that we'd done a good job in our year there, because that pilot just whipped us left and right until we gained some altitude, and then we were out of there.
And he was in a Herc?
We were in a Herc, yeah. A neat aircraft to be in, and I was so happy to get back off of it, because we were let you guys do all that crazy flying. I'm very much like being on the ground, so instead of in the air.
It's a good airplane. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any favorite characteristics of it? Anything else about the aircraft that you enjoyed flying it so much?
It had rails in it that we could put. And so you could set up for, like if we were going to drop a truck, roll the truck on, put it on the pallets, and then we had the double door in the back. So you'd open your top one, hook them up, and then when it came time to pickle, it dropped a big parachute that went out, and then it would just take, and you're trying to be 3 feet off the ground.
Oh, wow.
When that happened.
Yeah.
So, but then it would just pull it, and he'd be out of there in about 4.5 seconds.
I've seen the YouTube videos. It's pretty impressive watching that stuff just go right out. What was the biggest thing you hauled in your military career in a Hercules?
There were a couple of big cannons I hauled.
Okay.
And probably consistently were the barrels. I could haul, I think, 4 or 5 barrels. And they were like, I don't know, 20 feet, 25 feet.
Okay.
And condensed, that was probably the...
Yeah, and you had said earlier that you flew into Quezon and dropped at Quezon, and I'll like I said, I'll definitely mention to Dan Ferguson that he got some ammo and some other supplies for you, because he was a mortarman, and so he needed a lot of ammunition out at Quezon.
In Quezon, I landed. I never had to drop.
Oh, okay.
I was there right after. I started right after they got control of it again.
Gotcha.
So I was just flying in there.
Okay, so you were lucky. You didn't have to dodge all the stuff they were throwing at the planes. I've got a great picture from Dan's interview of Marines just scattering off as fast as they could from that runway, because it was always under fire.
Yeah.
And so just their helmets are going one way, their M16's going another, you know, their bags going a different way. And everybody in the background that's been there for a while is laughing at these guys because, you know, welcome to Quezon, essentially. And that's how they got out as fast as they could. So, yeah, that's neat that you guys were both there.
We weren't supposed to be messing around outside of Vietnam. But they had a lot of people hired, more or less hired gun, and they moved their families around. So we go down and land, pick up 30, 40 people, put them in the back, strap them down, and go. And hauling those people was interesting, because the only time they could feed was when they were on the plane. So we had to watch, because we had the aluminum pallets back there, and they'd go back, build fires, kind of hide it first. They'd go cook the food.
On the aircraft while you're in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd wait till they get going. And so I told the load, I said, "Load, you got to watch for the fire." But there was a couple of them that...
Smelling smoke's not really a good thing to have on an aircraft. You're pretty worried about that when you can smell the smoke from the cockpit.
you could have got far enough, but
yeah.
And sometimes I would just get up and go in the back and just troll around a little bit.
Make sure.
Yeah.
And so you'd set them down, and then they'd be in another village, and they'd be...
Or in a place where they could get to the other village.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Forward base somewhere.
So when did you make Lieutenant Colonel? Where were you stationed at that time?
I was in
Fairbanks, Alaska?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you think you were going to make full bird, or you'd had enough after 30 years?
No, I'd had enough.
You'd had enough? Yeah. Okay. You weren't going to try and become a senator or anything like that?
No.
Need a star on your shoulder? Okay. So what an impressive career. So load your master wings, highly decorated for your 30 years of time in the Air Force. Any lessons for anyone that's aspiring to join the Air Force, become a pilot, serve their country? Is there anything that you'd like to pass on? Something that you've learned for a young man or woman that's interested in serving?
Well, I was kind of lucky because when I went to CCK, it was just a good place to be. I was out of all harm's way and all that kind of stuff, and they were interested in building up the HERC program, and we wound up with 4 squadrons there.
Wow.
Each one had about 20, 25 planes.
Okay.
And so then we basically didn't count in the 50,000.
Oh yeah, for the drawdown at that time.
And we had 5,000 people there.
Right.
And so that worked out real well.
Yeah, they weren't in country, but you were still supporting everything that was going on. Yeah.
We were there for the country,
right,
basically.
Okay.
So that was
interesting history. So anybody that doesn't know, the numbers that were drawn down, if you put them outside, was still showing as a drawdown of the escalation. So they were able to kind of keep the numbers up without having it in country. So just kind of reporting it a little bit differently, a little misinformation that the government did.
And I was able to work myself around. I got in what they call ops. And so my job in the end was to 3 of us and then 1 boss. I did the basic, we did a lot of support. And so I set up the 4 squadrons and a week at a time. So I had that job where I was assigning missions to the 4, and then I was also doing maintenance runs for the HERC.
Okay.
So I learned quite a bit by that too.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And how many positions were there on the C-130? Obviously you had a pilot, co-pilot when you first started. It sounds like you had a navigator and a load master. And was there anybody else on the plane as the crew?
Well, in the engineer set, right between the 2 pilots.
Okay, so it was a 5-man crew when you first started, and then
the
load master
in the back. Yeah.
And then when you got to Alaska, as they're starting to do these retrofits, you went down to a 4-man crew.
4-man crew.
Okay, so you kept your flight engineer and your 2 pilots and your load master.
Flight engineer went.
Oh, okay. So what makes a man want to fly an airplane into a hurricane besides money? I know you were getting paid, but
slow day, nothing else to do.
in Alaska?
No. I was down when I was flying hurricanes. I was down in Mississippi.
Oh, okay. How many hurricanes did you fly?
I flew for 4 years.
Wow.
And my problem was when I got down in the problem there, I was also the scheduler.
Okay.
So I made what guys are going, what airplanes going on what mission. And sometimes, usually we'd only have 1 hurricane to deal with, but every once in a while, we'd have one being, and another one fired up coming off of Europe. And so have to send 1 plane down way out because you're getting out of fuel range. And then give him about 3 days to watch what's coming in and going up. And then by the time it got to the point where we had to start doing something, we already had all the specs. And then the Hurricane Center 2 would come in and look at what it had and then say, okay, I still need this. So then we'd go down, give 1 more run, and then from then it would be just following it all the way through.
I don't know if there's enough of anything to make me fly towards a hurricane. So yeah,
I was just about over the base tracking a storm, and I got to thinking, my wife is down there about 35 miles in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I called her and said, get out, go.
Yeah.
So she left, and then I just tracked the storm all the way in. So
did you ever buzz the house and let her know you were okay?
No, our house there was right out on the beach.
Oh.
And that would have raise some hell.
So yeah, fun though. I guess that's why you made Lieutenant Colonel. I didn't go too far in rank, because I always like raising too much hell. So yeah, completed somewhere in the 7,000 hours total for your flying
I
time.
think I'm about
6,000. Okay, still pretty impressive. That's a lot of hours in the cockpit, so, and in the air. Robert, we understand the early KC-135s had a little problem with wanting to catch fire. And you bailed out of one that was on fire on the ground, and we've got the newspaper article that proves it. So do you mind giving us a little insight on that?
Well, we had taxied into a parking place, shut the engines down. Now we had a 5-minute wait period. At 4 minutes, the smoke hit. And we had 2 loads on board. And one went back to the back to see what was going on. She was killed.
Oh, no.
And then the other guy in the center came forward, and then we all got out of the plane at that point, and it burned right to the ground. It was about this high. So you got through.
What did they find? What the cause was?
Funny you should ask.
Yeah.
I was just doing this here about 4 or 5 days ago, and at the same time, we were in a accident with the plane right there at Fairbanks.
Okay.
And so they took that piece out of my airplane, which was now this high off the ground, but they had a chance to go and find him. And 4 days after we had the fire, they had a crash back on the East Coast. And they sent a guy out to us because he had a friend that was working on my wreck. And they got back into the back tank. And I can remember when I was being grilled initially, was I on the radio? You know, I said, no. Yada, yada, yada. Again, 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 again. No, no, no. So anyway, then one of the guys in the pool of guys that were investigating found that in the back tank, the fuel had gone all the way to 0. And that's what we did as a rule. We emptied that tank because that's the most critical for CG.
Okay. Center of gravity.
And so it was dry. So feeding that tank was a machine about this high. Pump on the bottom, centrifugal, drive shaft, electric motor on the top, da-da-da. Well, what all came down to basically is that's where the fire started, on that little pump.
And all that's left in there is vapor, so it ignites very, very easily.
It was full empty.
Yeah.
And so this guy shows up. I don't know but he was there. And he got with our guys who were doing the accident investigation. He said, I need that pump.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if we're going to give it to you or
Yeah.
not. But so back he went with the pump, and was flying over his base back on that East Coast and said, well, they got on a helicopter to look and put me down right there. And he went down, pulled my little pump out, went back, and that's the exact same thing that caused his plane to blow up.
Oh, wow.
And we'd lost 5 Hercs, and we only knew, that's worldwide. We had 3 that were unaccounted for, and 2 we knew what happened.
Wow.
And the other 3 were feet wet, usually,
Yeah.
in the Pacific, so they couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
So we finally found out what was causing it, and that was that little drive shaft that went from here and about this long.
Mm-hmm.
Here it had a bearing, and down here it had a bearing at the bottom. And since they emptied the tanks, these weren't getting any lube.
Right.
And if they were kind of on the edge to begin with, then they could build heat pretty rapidly. Boom.
Wow. Yeah. So everything we've talked about. What do you think your best experience that you had in your time in service? So it can be anything from a favorite duty station, a promotion that sticks with you, a ball, any officer's mess. Was there any one instance that truly was your top point?
When the Herc tail blew off.
The Herc tail blew off. Okay.
Killed the load that was underneath it. And then we had the other load sitting at the midpoint doing these after shutdown. And at that point, I smelled the fire, had pushed in, and finally, it hit the front glass and it come back. And I took one whiff of that, swung my swing wing open, got down, got my mask, pulled it down, and then went out the side, got up on top of it, took a look, I had no tail.
Yeah.
And so then I slid down, hung from the ridge. I happened to know that is 13 feet off the ground.
Oof. So
I said, bye. And it came down and a little bit sloping, and it hit right flat on my back, rolled over and got up, went over and picked the pilot up off the guy who was running the co-pilot. And he broke his foot when he jumped out. So I got him up running, and then we exited.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite rank? I mean, you achieved very highly. Did you like being a captain the most, or a major, or just a lieutenant that only had to worry about his aircraft? Was there a specific position you enjoyed the most in the Air Force?
Probably between captain
and major.
And major.
I've talked to a number of...
I was most free.
Gotcha. And I've talked to a lot of warrant officers, and their favorite part about it being a warrant officer is they only have to deal with their aircraft. They don't have to run a company. They don't have to be in charge and plan all the missions. They just have their portion, and they like that better than having to be fully commissioned and having to do all that and then climb the ladder past. So I don't know if you saw in the State of the Union, the CW5, the Chief Warrant Officer 5, that was awarded the Medal of Honor. It's the first...
I didn't see that.
First CW5 ever to be awarded the Medal of Honor. And he flew his Chinook in a mission, and he was wounded 3 times in the legs, but still kept his Chinook level and did all of his command and control while being wounded. And so he had very highly decorated expert in his craft of flight, and just a very impressive man that was awarded the Medal of Honor. The other person that was Navy got in a dogfight. He was awarded his Medal of Honor there at the State of the Union, but he got in a scrape as a fighter pilot in the Korean War and shot down 6 out of 7 MiGs on his own. And so he had 10 confirmed kills in Korea, was a double ace, and received his Medal of Honor. So it was 2 pilots, 2 men amongst yourself that have a lot of dedication and a lot of time in the cockpit. And so on behalf of all of us, I just want to say thank you for coming out today and sharing your story. And we look forward to having Robert featured in the museum and much more being presented as we go through and we make this video with you. So Robert, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So this is my cockpit, turns on like that. This right here is my main search and rescue drone. This is the Matrice 4T. Has a wide camera, telephoto zoom camera up to 112 times, an infrared camera.
Oh, so you got FLIR on there too?
Oh yeah. Laser rangefinder that will give the ASL elevation plus the grid coordinates down to the second, as well as the distance from the drone to whatever it's pointing at. And then it also has a near infrared spotlight on it. So you have it up in the air at night, you can shine a spotlight on something and it'll be pretty much completely invisible. Just arm it. Takes right off.
Oh, that's fast.
Yep. Oh, that's just its takeoff. So there's the Sutter Buttes out there. Yep. You got the zoom. That's 7 times. And you can see all the way up there, those radio towers. You can rotate this around. We can see us all down there. We turn on the infrared, and because we got a lot of thermal wash from the sun right now, but you still got every little bit of heat over there. And you got a couple different modes. You got your black hot, your white hot, your tint. Obviously it works better at night. So you can see as Sean goes right there, smart track. And so now this is completely hands-free, and it's just following him along. Yep. And then say Sean's a target, we want to get rid of him. He's been too mean to me. There's the laser rangefinder showing he's 132 feet away from the drone, above sea level of 180 feet, and 39.64732 north by 1217548.
Lock on.
Yeah. And it'll keep doing that even if I, go off. But then the other thing too is with the AI program built into it, it will tell me, we'll get off of that, it will designate people. So as it goes down there, it'll tell you exactly how many people are in this, and it'll put little target markers over them too. So it shows 6 of us out there and 1 car. So we got the 1 car right there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's got very good safety sensors on it. Not quite radar, but close.
That thing is closed before you hear it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we come in here, we'll obviously lose GPS. So I've turned off the safety systems on it, which allows me to fly a lot faster and allows me to, not... Told you I could fly through it.
Yeah.
And it allows me to get way closer. Otherwise, like if I turn and fly this towards that right now in sport mode, it will go in and crash into it. But I hit it over to normal mode, you can see all the yellow down there. That's basically not quite the radar, but everything else. And so I'm pushing it as fast as I can towards that. And that's as close as it'll let me get.
Well,
but it's still,
feature,
yeah.
That's great.
That's quite a tour.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of touches the surface of everything this is capable of. But
Fly to the top of the pecan trees, the tall.
those ones?
Yeah, it's a view of the house I've never seen. We've got a great picture my grandparents had done, but it's years and years ago. And then, can you take a picture with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you snap a couple of Dad's property right now, looking down? Because we've got one. You had to pay somebody with an airplane to fly over years ago.
And if you want,
yeah.
I could do a whole oblique mission of this. I could 3D print you this house if you wanted to.
Wow. Isn't that incredible?
That's listening to your story, Colonel, and hearing all about this and thinking about how a lot of drones like this is, when I say the future of aviation, that's not to be like, oh, this is the only way to doing it, but so much of the modern battlefield is fought with these right now.
Yeah.
It's scary and humbling thinking about how I carry this around in that little case in my pickup truck, and I don't know how much footage I've seen of people getting killed by stuff exactly like this.
Well,
and
now
then
you're talking about putting up nets and things.
And
too. I
I've-
guess they are to try to capture these.
yep,
or-
and these are already outdated by fiber optic FPV drones, which are just the best and brightest minds are trying to figure out how to counter those. And then with just my own YouTube stuff that I do, covering drones, I can go through and look at all the analytics, and I can very clearly see all these countries that hate each other watch a lot of my videos. And I'm like, how many people have watched my videos on how to use drones to save people, and have turned around and go, well, we can use that tactic for this. And
It goes both ways.
it goes both ways.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was great.
Not a
Yeah.
problem.
I will say that you've got a hell of a grandson. So the amount of work he's done for our website and everything has been great.
He actually knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Well, I guess because it works. So it's either him or somebody he knows that's doing it. But he's really gotten us a long ways on what we're trying to achieve. What, Tim?
I would have thrown him off the plane. Holy smokes, my jaw's on the floor.
Yeah.
What?
Aluminum pallets still work pretty well.
Yeah, nothing like breathing burning aluminum. Yeah.
I don't like breathing, burning anything on
Right.
a plane.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We're pleased today to have Laugh Productions as our sponsor for this episode with Lieutenant Colonel Robert Shepard.